Gentlemen, 2 sweet 16s, 1 cup. These are not that far apart in timeline. This is a little bit later model. They both got DEIs in them, I think. We're going to find out for sure. One is missing most of its guts, and the other one's pretty much in complete working order. So our entire mission here is to put these together, and I honestly think, between you, me, and the fence post, this guy's going to end up selling these. And he likes using them on 10 meters. So, yeah. RO numbers 86 and 87. 2023. Let's get with it. So this is RO number 86, and as we can see, it's missing some pieces and parts. Right? And here is RO number 87. It's complete. So this one here is going to take a little bit more work, for sure, than this one over here. But that's okay. We're going to convert them both into beauties. Believe me when I tell you I can wire these things without even thinking about it anymore. Like, it's been a hot minute since I've had to go to cbtricks.com to look at the wiring schematic for a freaking Texas Star Sweet 16. We are going to do full power wire upgrades on both of these. I don't have to do fuse deletes on either one of these because neither one of them, this one obviously doesn't have anything in it, and this one's just direct. They started getting smarter towards the end of things. They really did. They started eliminating the fuse holders completely, the fuses completely. And they just started shipping out a clump. They would send you like 5 30 amp fuses or whatever. But they upgraded to the Anderson clip because they figured out that the Anderson clip's cheaper than actually putting real wire coming out of the back of the thing. We'll do Anderson clips on both. It's okay. When I say I buy these in bulk, I'm absolutely not lying to you. Because it seems like everybody and their brother wants Anderson clips on everything anymore. Just saying, that's the path that we're going to be heading, and we're going to do both of these this afternoon or this evening. So, yeah, sit back, relax, eat a gummy. We're going to be here for a hot minute, and let's enjoy this ride. Because, gentlemen, we're going to build ourselves some Sweet 16s. So first thing we got to do is we got to build a good foundation with good components, right? These DEI transistors with their unknown, untrackable part numbers. These are 16 T2s in this amplifier. Anybody know what that means? Yeah, I don't either. I've been doing this for 15 years. So there you go. I'm sure they're a variant. See, these transistors actually do come from North. Same guy that makes the HGs. But each iteration of the transistor has changed, right? So the 16T2, we don't know what that is. And we also know that they've had a high rate of failure. These transistors are the 2879 25C. Is that an S? These are 20D09. And the screws are all different lengths now. So let's go with something consistent and reliable. All right, desolder, pull the pills, and clean the pill pockets next. Okay, so 8 new HG 16 DO8 2879 is installed. That one is done. This one's going to require more work than this one. So what I got over here is 8 matched 16 DO8s. And now it's time to do the same process again. And we'll drop them in this box, which won't take very long. And then we'll go through and then we'll wash it, just like I did with that one. And the reason we got to wash it is because as I was pulling the transistors out, I kept finding pieces like this floating around inside the amp. That's a piece of unmelted solder. I probably pulled 4 or 5 pieces out of that box and 2 or 3 pieces out of this box. So we cleaned all the pill pockets out. That's what all the Q-tips are from. And then we'll go through and we're going to put new thermal compound on the transistors and we'll screw them down nice and tight. And then we'll solder everything in place. And then we're going to wash it. Make sure there's nothing underneath the board that's going to cause us to have a nightmare later on, I guess. All right, let's do it. All right, so we finished the drip dry process and all the transistors are in. I sit and I think about this driver. I've tried to replace it like 3 or 4 times. Every time I buy, this is made by Excelite. Every time I try to buy an equivalent of this, the tip of the damn Allen wrench is so soft it just folds right over. I've probably done 500 plus Texas stars with that thing. Okay, so transistors are in, everything is washed, the flux has been removed, all the little bits of shit we've done our best to remove those. Next step is rewire. And I think I'm going to start with this one over here. I'm going to get the remote jack all wired up and get the on-off switches and the sideband delay all hooked back up on this one. Get the fans hooked up on this. We're going to make it so it goes through the on-off switch so everything turns on immediately. Probably going to steal this fuse out of this one and put it over there for that one. And we'll extend this wire over to here and then that wire over to there. I'm going to go work on that one. I think that's enough straightforward, right? Yeah? I'm just sitting here thinking, looking at a couple different things here, but thinking mostly about how a majority of my passion for amplifiers really came into its own space because of a sweets16 and how the one guy in town that had one, he just screwed up the airwaves and I just couldn't believe it. I mean, at the time everybody in town had like 5 watts, maybe 35 watts, right? Dude come to town with one of these things and a couple punk kids he hung out with and bam. Now I've bought and sold, I don't know how many of these things are repaired. I don't even know how many Texas stars. A lot. The sweets16 especially. It's always wanted to bolt 2 together, and then I got to repair my very first Viking, right? And hot plate. Just had on hot plate through here the other day. Okay, so I'm sitting here looking at stuff, and I'm admiring the absolutely astounding soldering work that has come out of Texas Star here lately. And my eyes are drawn to this blob. This blob right here. And I'm like, what in the Sam holy fart knockers is this? I start jiggling on it. It's not even hooked up. A blob actually is attached to the back of the LED for the on-off light. Don't know if that ever worked or not. But then my brain goes, well, if that's the case, I wonder what's going on over here on this one. This shit's never even been soldered. I swear. I swear to God. It's like, man, times have changed. This used to be the gold bench standard for quality control and amplifiers in the market. It was that way for a lot of years. You had Palomar and, you know, a few others, Messenger and whatnot, but Texas Star was, I think they had the most reach because they were partnered with a radio distribution company. I don't know, but I remember a day where people lost their bacon over that. Anyhow, so they're all wired back up. The red nippled one here is all wired up, and all the wires are replaced that got cut out of it. And I still don't know what this guy was trying to do with this amp up here. I have no idea. Added a new remote plug, so now he's got the remote option like this one. Tied in the fan, and we made both the fans continuous. They're both fused the same. I got 10 amp fuses here that go back to their own committed hookup point. This one's here with a 10 amp fuse that goes up to here. Made the fans so they're direct drive, so we bypassed this thermal switch, which was the dumbest damn thing I've ever seen, but I guess having this here versus not having it at all, and somebody getting a fan kit for their stuff and melting it to the ground. All the years that they made these amps, they could have changed this pattern and had just a little nipple put here, and then pop ribbeted this to the nipple, or extended this block out and put it right here. At least then there would have been metal to metal, right? This thing sits floating with an air gap, so these boards, none of these sit flat on the tray that's in here. So then the tray's got to heat up and then conduct enough heat to a piece of fiberglass. Yeah, that's a great conductor of electricity in any shape or form, or energy in any shape or form. The only thing it's got going for it is maybe the proximity to the heatsink screw, maybe, but so that heat's got to get transferred over here and then the fan kicks on. I personally dislike it, so when you turn the switch on, the fan turns on. That's it. Bottom line, end of story, conversation, go, period. This is me. Anywho, okay, rant over. I'm going to solder this up, fix this up real quick, and now we're going to do power distribution. We all know this is my favorite thing, so here we go. Just got to building last night and we're done. I mean, I know I should have shot more segments of me working on this. I apologize. I just wanted to get these done. One thing after the next, after the next, after the next, after the next. So, the red nippled one, it's all set up, good distribution. We're gonna be able to get way more current inside the box than what we were going on beforehand, because there was no power wires on this one at all. This is the one that was all chewed up, and somebody cut half the wires out of the box. And this one's ready to go. This one here, we got all the power distribution done on it as well. It magically looks like a twin of this one. So now all I got to do is get out my oversized Anderson clips, hook it up to my oversized supply, and let's run it and see if there's any problems. I doubt there will be. It's pretty thorough in how we check these out, but you never know until you test. So let's take our boom diggity and move that direction, I think. All right, so we got red nipples hooked up, plugged it in, no smoke. That's a good sign. Before we turn it on, I want to show you where we're at with power. It's just a 5-watt slug facing forward. So we're going to put a 1-watt dead key in it. If I can't get this amp to latch and fully come into transmit on 12 volts with 1 watt worth of carrier, we've got other problems we need to talk about, right? So, kick the amp on. About break this needle, of course. So turn that back from reflect. So we've got 1,000 watt in peak, 1,000 in average. I've got my 1,000 watt slug coming for this thing here. Currently it's got a 5,000 watt slug in it. We'll take a look at that later, but then 5 watt slug in reverse back from the Bird 10,000 watt dummy load. So no reflect coming back from the dummy load. And hello, 1, 2. Let's go up here and take a look at this. So we've got our striker. Let's lock this down. We've got the striker here, right here. That's bugging me. Got our striker here and our 5 watt slug in reverse between the striker and the amp. Here's our pass-through tune, hello 1, 2, 1, 2. And what we're measuring is the RF's ability to go from the radio, through the bird meter, down through the amp, through all the different bird meters, and then down into the amplifier, or down into the dummy load. So amp engaged, hello 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Got a good input schwirr. That makes me happy. Means we're one step closer to being done with this, without having to tiddly-wink around with it for too awful much. Hello, 1, 2. Amp off, amp on. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. And you ask yourself, but why are the watts so low? Because this is 1,000 in peak, and so on. It all comes down to volts. All comes down to volts. So, as we can see over here, right on the edge of the screen there, we're coming up in volts. Got the power supply set to around 15. So after it makes its way through all the different connections, and then it's down into the amplifier, we end up having about 14.8. So let's see here. Oh yeah, all the way over. Go to 2x. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. This thing's working really good. Oh, we just lost a Toshiba. Or not a, we didn't lose a Toshiba, we lost a 10 ohmer. Right here. Smoke. Flames. Fire. Bummer. Well, let's diagnose what caused that. It's most likely the bias. Yeah, this resistor here let the smoke clean out of it, as we can all see. Okay, let's do some more tests here. I can't believe I didn't catch this. So remember, this is the one that was all butchered, right? So I focused all my attention on the wires and routing of things and that. Skipped over the complete obvious fact that it's missing the 10 ohm resistor on this side of the circuit. And I didn't even think about it. This is reading 29K. We got to have much lower resistance than that. We basically just dumped 12 volts directly on both of these transistors, and it was still making 1600 watts before it popped. So, needless to say, I got to take this out, take these two transistors out. I got to replace that 10 ohm, add another 10 ohm, and then I got to replace the 1.6 ohm resistor that's supposed to be here. That's my fault. I just skipped right over a step. I swear to God, I thought I spent enough time looking at this, but I guess not. This is interesting. I've never seen this before. Let's see here. So, I test this transistor and it's dead short. Straight across the transistor, which means very high bias voltage, so shorted from here to here. I go to pick up this transistor to test it, and the whole foot falls off. Never seen this before. This is different. So that gives us the opportunity to see the mechanical connection on the bottom side of the transistor. There isn't one. It's glue. This semi-ring thing here is part of the glue off the foot of the pill. Just never seen this before. I thought you guys would find it interesting. But we still have to test it. Let's see if it's even any good. I mean, only the best from Chinesium. Damn. Green, blue, shorted straight through. Okay. So we've been back in here now. We went ahead and we replaced the two 10 ohm resistors, put another 1.6 ohm resistor here. Let me dig around and find two more transistors that are matched up. And when we come back, we should be working. Okay, so we're back up and running. I want to give you guys a visual demonstration of what I was talking about a couple segments ago about line loss from here to down into the box. So we've grabbed on the back of this output transformer. We're sitting at 14 or 15 volts flat. We're hooked up to the Monster power supply, which is a 1,000 amp switcher, hooked up to a bunch of supercapacitors, hooked up to some lithium batteries and stuff, right? I did a whole video on that. Under operation, at 15 volts, we'll probably drop to 14.3. Hello, 14.3 on the button. So when I test stuff at 15 volts, it's for a legitimate reason. If I dial the voltage down to, let's say, something like what your alternator is going to put out, there's 14.6. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 14 volts. Nope, nope. We'll say 14, hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Say 14.8, 14.6. Most vehicles, if you're lucky, they'll give you 14.5, 14.6. Hello, 1, 2. Now we're down below 13 volts. The point is you got to make sure your connections to your battery are good and are efficient, because we've done everything we can to get enough current into the amplifier, enough voltage and enough current, right? It's all the poor electrical connections that you have between A and B and C and D sauce. Now if I bring this over and we plug this into the strip over here, let's run our voltage back up. There's 14.5, set it around 15 volts. Oh, I got 14.7 volts there. But then if I come and I probe, losing a whole tenth of a volt just in the connectors. Now if I was to do this on a stock amplifier, we would see a full volt. Needless to say, this amplifier is working perfectly fine now. Cannot believe I skipped over that and I didn't see that. I don't understand why I didn't see it. All right, let's go over here. We're in 2X. First, let me shut the amp off. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We're seeing about 120-ish watts drive. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. Doing exactly what it should do. I mean exactly what it should do. Hello. About 15 and some change, 16 and some change. So we're going to call this one a win. And let's get this off the bench. The other thing I did is I built a little pigtail for the fan kit that goes with this amplifier. There was no plugs that came with it, and he said he didn't have one, so I said, cool, I'd hook him up. Now we've done it. All right, let's disconnect this. Let's throw the other one in its spot. Let's get on with it. Okay, so amp number 2. Let's go up here. And let's check out our pass-through tune. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Perfectly flat. That's what we're looking for. Kick the amp on. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, at oh, at oh, at oh. Got 2 bars showing here and 0 there. I'm gonna go with a bird meter. Sorry. Just going with a bird meter. Okay, so we got our 1000 watt slug in average and our 1000 watt in 2X. Let's kick the box on. Hello, right at 16. Hello, 1 2 1 2. Working great on sideband. Okay, so amp number 2 checks out. All the mods on it are working. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello. It's a beautiful thing. All right. Now let's do fan kits. Get the BBI logo snuck up in there and everything. Okay, fan kit number 1. This is the one that was in fairly decent shape. Yep, everything's working. Okay, let's do fan kit number 2. All right. So the bastard problem child was a bastard problem child all the way up to the very end. The fan kit wire extension thingy I built for it, guess what? I didn't test it, plugged it in, blew the fuse on the inside. So repaired the fan kit plugs, replaced the fuse. Now we got full chooch on both fans. Well, both sides, all 4 actually. So, let's see. These amps differ from each other just a little bit. One comes out this way, another one goes out that way for the remote plugs. Just saying. Well, gentlemen, this is the end of this song and dance with these 2 boxes. Thank God. I'm ready to go play with other things, and I have many copious other things I need to go play with, but still, it was a pleasure and an honor. I appreciate my friend that sent these up for me to work on, and him being so patient and giving me time to work on them. I'm sorry, you guys, I just don't move that fast. I like to go slow and be very thorough about things and really honestly try. The way I look at it is you guys spend a lot of time and money waiting to have or having the equipment to send up or waiting for me to work on it. Why not try and be as thoroughly as I possibly can? Let's try not to be as, I try to be as thorough as I can. That way I have the least amount of comebacks that I can, guaranteeing myself ultimately the highest level of success that I can afford. We went ahead and we plugged up all the holes on the back of the cabinet. This amp was probably 50% restoration. This one here was probably about 25. But still 16 good transistors installed. 16 ready to go HGs. I'm glad they're done. And I know that both of these are going to go to good use on the frequency that they're designed to go be used on. That's a loaded statement. Let me back that up a little bit more. These maybe or maybe were not designed specifically for not 11 meters, right? The gentleman that owns both of these might go use them elsewhere, but that's on him, not me. I don't care. All I'm going to say is it's designed to work there too. But we did all of our testing right where we should. So on that note, gentlemen, I'm going to say I'm going to go. Big shout out to Penna, XS, Siglant, McMahon, Bird, Coaxial Dynamics, Steaming Coax. And thank God for the Patreon supporters that allowed us to do this video with no YouTube ads. If you ever thought about joining us, the time would be now. I appreciate you guys. I really do. It is the middle of the weekend, and I'm going to go spend the rest of this day and all day tomorrow doing stuff with my family. And I don't feel bad about that. I might need to do another road trip this next week, and then I will be going to the Northwest Corner Mud Duck Break the week after that. So believe me, we got a ton of content coming up and a lot of fun stuff going on. I appreciate everybody tuning in and following along. Click bang. Boom diggity. I'm out of here. I'll see you. Click click.